My name's Abi Osho. I am the founder of Soul Medicine. I'm 53 years old. I'm a holistic health and lifestyle coach, and I have two amazing children. My daughter is 21 and my son is 18 years old. I decided a few years ago, really, that I wanted to work closer with women. And what I was finding is I trained to be a clinical hypnotherapist, and I came away from that because a lot of the time women were talking to me about their health, and hormones was a key part of that. And the areas that kept coming up for me were women suffering from fibroids, endometriosis, polycystic ovaries, and the menopause. And all of those areas, albeit different, all came under the umbrella of hormones. And I thought, you know what, Abi, there's a real piece of work that needs to be done here, because people were so unaware. And, you know, when your hormones are out of balance, no matter what way it is, it can be really debilitating. It can be very isolating. It can stop you from going out and really living your life because you're second thinking or second guessing, you know, how am I going to be? How am I going to be act? How am I going to be around people? So you start to isolate yourself. And I thought, this is not the way we need to be going here. We need to be addressing these issues, finding out, you know, what is going on, and offering as much support and help in terms of, you know, holistic health. And whilst I'm absolutely not anti-functional Western medicine, I think if there's a way that you can deal with things holistically first and foremost, please try that route first. And then you've got enough information to make an informed decision on what's going to be right and correct for you. Sometimes as women, I feel like even when you go back to childhood, you know, and you were watching your mum and you were given, let's say, like a doll set, or you were given like a little nurse's outfit, it was always about you pleasing others. It was always about you giving to others. And we are naturally, you know, individuals that do give. However, there was no boundaries set. When we were young, it was very rare that you would see even your mother say no. So there were no boundaries that we had in place for when we matured as, you know, young women and adults. And I think in with that, for me, I know for myself, I suffered a lot of self-worth issues. I used to always be comparing myself against somebody else and thinking, well, you know, I don't look like that, or I don't speak like that, or I don't sound like that, so therefore I am less than. And there was this whole narrative that I feel as women that we work within, this measuring system that we have that is an internal voice from within, always kind of putting ourselves down in a way and not giving ourselves the best tools or the voice. And I think for me and for many other women that I've kind of spoken to over the years, they want to do things, they want to be out there, they want to do great things in the world, yet they don't want to be visible. And I think that visibility is such a big thing to actually, you know, break through and know that your truth is in your visibility and your truth is in your story. And for some, when you take it back to where you know, as children, it's always like, shh, hush, don't say this, don't tell such and such. So you're kind of shrouded in this secrecy, and it's learned behavior. And then as you get to an adult, you have to unlearn that behavior. So I think that we really are quite hard on ourselves. And sometimes we don't recognize why we're acting in the way that we are. We just think it's us. But it isn't. It's because we've learned that behavior from quite a young age as a safety mechanism. And now it's about breaking out of that. Last month, September, was my busiest month I'd had. It was an incredible month. However, I was working around the clock, 7 days a week, because I was launching lots of new things. And mentally, I told myself that it was fine. I could do that. I could manage it. I got to the end of the month and I was absolutely shattered. I was really tired, and I knew from the responses that I was giving to my husband and to my children, I could tell that I'd got much snappier. You know, my answers were much shorter. I was shutting people down. And I'm not proud of this, but this is my reality. And when I got to the 1st of October, and yes, I'd hit all of my goals, etc., But I just sat and I just felt really emotional, and to the point where I just started to cry. And the crying came because, and I talk about crying a lot, because crying is a powerful release, but it came from where I had been doing so many things and I'd been penting up that emotion. So when I released it, I knew, I said to myself, right, okay, you can't continue like this. You can't have October like this. So I literally took all of the balls that I was juggling and I laid them on the table. And I decided, right, there's some I'm going to have to drop here. And it's not something that I like to do at all, because it goes back a little bit to not letting people down. But I had to. And I had to have certain conversations with people that I was due to work with, collaborating, doing different projects with this month, and say to them, emotionally, I cannot take it on. Emotionally, I'm too fragile to even think about taking these new projects on. I will talk to you again in November, and a couple I've delayed until January of next year. But I had to do that for my own emotional and mental health state. I probably wouldn't have done that 2 years ago. I'd have just kept going. But I know my triggers. And this month, I have decided I'm not taking anything new. This is probably my quietest month of the year I've had. I'm not taking any new projects on, because I know that if I'm out there saying, give from your overflow, I have to be the product of my own talk. I've got to walk that talk. And sometimes as businesswomen and as coaches, we put it out there, but we don't always walk our talk. And that's why I'm sharing this. Yeah, because there are two sides to every story, and every story has a side that is challenging. And that was my challenge. So I want to just put that out there. Give yourself time and reconnect with nature. Some of the tips that I'd like to share with you, and these are, these are things that I've said to myself as well, and that I say to other women that I work with. First and foremost, always give from your overflow. And what I mean by that is you must ensure, in terms of self-care, that you fill up your own cup first and you give from your overflow. Because then you've actually got the energy and you've got the mindset to give naturally and freely, yeah, without running yourself into the ground. Second, if you're having a little bit of a wobble or it's something new that you're having to do, just repeat these words to yourself. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. 3 little words, but very, very powerful. And the more you repeat them, and they might sound strange at first, the more you believe, because you are enough, but you have to believe it for self. The other tip that I would share as well is, if you are having a bit of an overload moment where you're just feeling like you're really overwhelmed, yeah, just take 3 really good deep breaths in. And I don't mean shallow breaths from the chest, I mean diaphragmatic breaths. So it's almost like you're singing a note. So if you're singing a note out loud, and I can't sing, but I'm going to do it, la, that diaphragmatic breathing comes from down there in the stomach. And what you're doing is you're allowing your sympathetic nervous system to start to calm down and reduce your cortisol levels. Nobody needs to know that you're doing it, but you know, and you can do that within 3 simple breaths. It's easy, it's free of charge, and it will absolutely help you just raise up your energy and your vibrations. Pineapple punch. Jollof rice. Ooh, do I have to make a choice? Okay. Idris Elba. Sex. Chest.